burning in the sky. Something is wrong. At this time many fighters flew overhead. Then a great bright light pierced the sky. The man who had just watched the news knew that it was a comet that was going through the atmosphere, and then it would fall into the Pacific Ocean, which would certainly not endanger the Earth. A man named John took his son to the supermarket. Suddenly John's phone rings, the message displayed as a presidential-level alert. Then he received a call from the security bureau. They told him the supergiant comet was about to hit the Earth. The Earth was about to be destroyed. John as the senior architect should be selected. You can take your family to the refugee camp. Only 20 hours from the time the Earth was destroyed. John looked around to make sure he was the only one receiving the phone, then hurriedly drove home with his son. On the way met many military vehicles. Team. John is aware that this is not as simple as the news says. At this time, the neighbors are sitting in the house watching the live stream about the comet falling. I don't know why the comet, which was originally going to fall to Taibin, suddenly disappeared. Then, a very loud sound outside caused John to rush out to see the sky. A large wave of positive impulses attacked. John was suddenly shot far away. The window glass was also broken. The comet did not fall into the Pacific Ocean, but into Florida. In the blink of an eye the city was engulfed in flames. Everything turned to dust in an instant. Hundreds of thousands of people have died, but it is unknown how many comets still have not fallen. Everyone is covered with fear. Then, on TV, John's family appeared on TV, reminding him to hurry to a safe refuge. John's phone received a QCODE code to identify the identity. John and his wife and children packed their bags and prepared to leave. The neighbor holding her daughter wanted John to let them go. John's wife wanted him to let the girl go, but he flatly refused. In this situation, it's hard to take care of your loved ones, let alone take care of other people's children. John kicked the chicken's feet hard and sped away. The highway was packed, he couldn't move. John took a shortcut to the refuge. It took only 6 hours for the Earth to be destroyed, and this place was soon surrounded to the point that it was impossible to squeeze in, could only get off the car and go there. The airport is heavily guarded by soldiers armed with guns. Only those who have received notice from the security bureau will be allowed to enter. John shows his code, smoothly gets inside and prepares to board the plane. This place has 9 transport planes, each person is given a bracelet, and is only allowed to bring 1 suitcase. When John's wife checked her luggage, she couldn't find her son's insulin. Turns out their son has diabetes. John recalled, he must have left it in the car so he wanted to go get it. John asked the soldier wearing the bracelet if he could go in and out. The soldier said yes. John quickly ran back to the car to get medicine. John's wife impatiently waited for her husband not to return, so she asked the soldier to find John. While asking for help, he accidentally said that his son was sick. As soon as the soldier heard the disease, he immediately called the captain to come. The captain knew that the child was ill, so he did not allow him to board the plane. Because the genes of the selected people are healthy, jealous, anyone with the disease is not allowed to board the plane. John's wife was taken to headquarters. She begged the female officer but the other party refused. John's wife furiously questioned the other party. The female officer said that none of her relatives were satisfied. Not even 99% of the soldiers here are selected. These 2 sentences made John's wife only accept the truth, so she took her son out to find her husband. But at this time, a large number of residents began to riot, breaking down barriers, trying to get on the plane. The comet is about to hit the Earth. Only a few hours left for the Earth to be destroyed. For being able to survive, people against the army. Reluctantly, the soldiers opened fire on them. The soldier who was pouring gasoline into the plane was hit by a bullet and fell. Fuel does not stop flowing. John took the medicine from the car and went back to find his wife and children. Discovering that his wife and children were not on the plane, the person next to him saw him holding insulin and told him. The patient was not allowed to board the plane. John rushed down. He discovered that the probe fuel was likely to explode. He urged everyone to evacuate. Not far from running, the plane exploded. John saved everyone up there. Then there was a series of explosions in the airport. Moments of smoke and fire in the sky. John's wife was kicked out, so she took her son back to the car to find medicine. At this time, the boy's diabetes relapsed. Phone lost signal again. She had to leave a message saying she was going to the pharmacy. She had a hard time finding insulin. But he encountered a band of robbers with guns. John's wife led her son to climb out, and when he was about to reach the door, a robber stopped him. John's wife begged the robber. He softened his heart to forgive them. John's wife calls for help from a couple driving. They decided to give the mother and daughter a ride for a while. Man driving by accident and saw the bracelet on John's wife's arm. He knew it was the symbol of the chosen one, so he came up with bad intentions. He stopped the car, forced John's wife to get out of the car, stole her bracelet, and forced her son to leave her on the highway. The driver went to the shelter, and he and his wife impersonated John and his wife to board the plane. On the other side, John saw the message left by his wife, so he asked to hitchhike another car. A black guy in the car told John. Bong K in the army's underground built in Greenland. They saw that John had a bracelet, so they wanted to steal it, but he didn't give it. Everyone jumped into a fight. Spending jerking back and forth caused the car to lose balance. The driver slammed on the brakes. Everyone shot out. John fell into the grass by the roadside, his face covered in blood, and then fought again. Only 3 more hours until the Earth will be destroyed. John unfortunately accidentally killed one person, the other was afraid to run away. John walked to a small town. The town was soon empty of people. John broke down the door to the house and turned on the television. The whole world fell into chaos. John drove the owner's car away, leaving a message. I will definitely return it. He drove to his father-in-law's house. He was leisurely playing cards, not worried about the approaching end of the world. Seeing that only John had come, the father-in-law angrily questioned where his daughter and grandson were. The relationship between father-in-law and son-in-law was inherently not good. John had to tell the truth that he was lost. Now can only wait for his wife and children to go to the next refuge. At this time, the couple is preparing to enter the airport. The boys suddenly said they were not his parents. They took his mother's bracelet. The soldiers learned that he was ill, so they refused to let him on the plane. But still inject him with an insulin shot. John's wife was also very quick to find her son. Mr. Soldier took the mother and daughter to his grandfather's house. The family is finally reunited, with only an hour left for the Earth to be destroyed. They decided to take the whole family to Canada first and then fly to Greenland, but the father-in-law had no intention of going with them. He said this is his home. Furthermore, John's mother-in-law is buried here. He wants to protect her for the rest of his life. At this time, a piece of comet debris fell not far from the house, creating a large positive pulse wave. The boy stopped screaming in the room. John and his wife rushed in to see if they had to go. John's father-in-law said. Before leaving, his father-in-law gave John his only gun and told them to take good care of them. The son did not know this parting was goodbye, so he asked his grandfather when he could see him again. Grandpa tries to stay calm, speaks very quickly, when it's all over, I'll come to your house. Everything cannot be expressed in words. John's wife heartbroken got into the car, crying like rain. This trip is like saying goodbye to Dad. Everyone is very charming. The old man looked at the figure of the car in the distance. At this time, a comet passed through the sky. The only road to Canada is so congested that it is impossible to move. After that, John immediately drove into the forest to hide. He drove under the bridge and ran out to save people and was injured. At this time, the radio announced that the city where the father-in-law lived had been destroyed. A comet that is about to crash into the Earth will cause a strong earthquake, resulting in a high tsunami. The hot wind will sweep the Earth at the speed of sound. The surface of the Earth will completely evaporate. Only 1 hour left, the Earth will be destroyed. The family continued on the road in difficulty, struggling until finally reached the airport. At this point, the last plane was taking off. John drove straight towards the plane. With no other choice, the captain had to make an emergency stop and cursed John severely. John did not protest, begging the captain to bring his wife and children on the plane. The captain also had no way. John had to beg with a thick face. If he doesn't let him in, he won't drive away. The captain had to agree, but John's wife did not want to leave her husband. The captain also helplessly asked how much John weighed. John said that 70 pounds. The captain was suspicious and made him say, "Actually, I'm 80 pounds. The captain still couldn't believe it. "Can't be honest." John faltered, 115 pounds. The captain is so helpless, lying about his weight can't bring any luggage. Climb up, finally get on the flight. Suddenly the sky brightened, a huge comet fell into the sea not far away. The large positive wave momentarily caused the plane to crash. The plane's head is plugged into the bottom. The captain tried his best to let the plane glide over the top of the mountain. Finally, one end hit the snow. The plane landed safely, but the captain and co-pilot lost their lives. Everyone continued on their way. Only an hour left until the Earth was destroyed. They walked for a long time, finally seeing the army truck. The car took everyone to the underground bunker. Now it was only a few minutes before the big comet crashed into the Earth. Everyone sped up and ran deep into the shelter. John found a bed and sat down. The Earth's crust began to shake violently. The family of 3 hugged each other and reminisced about the good times. Man's long-standing civilization is now in just a few minutes briefly demolished to rubble. The whole Earth turned to ashes. The main door of the underground bunker opens. The squirrels can finally rebuild their homeland.